another episode of Newsmaker Live with Laura. If it's Wednesday, it's Newsmaker Live, where we make your stories our stories. This past weekend, we celebrated Independence Day. Yay, St. Lucia, 37 years. You know, it is said that at 35, you become an adult, you know. And so we're 37 years old, and so we're 2 years out of the gate. But I must say, you know, I've been hearing a lot of talk about whether independence celebrations this year was a success or whether it was a bust. And then I wonder to myself, as I usually do, whenever I hear a festival or an event was a success, I wonder, what are the markers that we're using to measure the success or the failure or the bust of the event, of the occasion? I mean, independence should really not be judged as an event, as in the jazz festival or carnival. But when we put together events to mock or to celebrate such an august occasion, you can't help but ask yourself whether it was successful or not. Most people do. And I wonder, what are the markers used by our authorities or, you know, the relevant people, or even lay persons in St. Lucia? What are the markers used to judge whether the events surrounding our independence celebration a success? I must admit that I didn't have an opportunity to engage or to be a part of a lot of the celebrations because I wasn't feeling very well, so I stayed home to rest. However, I did take a turn in Viewfort, and I was very disappointed. So for me, at least, it wasn't a success because I couldn't see any flags. You know, the week leading up to, and even the weeks leading up to independence, everybody was talking about show your patriotism and wear your national colors with pride. And the Friday before independence, it was National Color Day. You know, some of the media people dubbed it National Color Day. And if you didn't wear national colors, then you weren't showing patriotism and you weren't showing nationalism and you weren't a part of it. And you should go home and get dressed in your national colors. Blue, black, white, and yellow. And if you didn't, then there's something wrong with you. And as I usually do every year, I do wear my national colors because I feel a sense of pride and a sense of belonging when, you know, Independence Day comes around. And maybe I'm an old school soul like that because I remember as a student, as a child in the primary school system, you know, every year we had to wear our uniforms with pride and have our best socks on and the cleanest ribbons and our brightest shirts and overalls. And I happen to have gone to a school where our overall, our uniform, was in the color of the flag, the blue. And so you took pride in that, and you went to the rallies, and every school child was given a flag, and every school child wanted to be selected to be a part of the national rally. But when I got to Viewfort, I couldn't find a flag. There were no flags. As a matter of fact, there was this event dubbed the Green Banana Symposium or something, where we were supposed to be showcasing, and I say green bananas because I don't understand why we call it figs, you know, and then it's ripe bananas. When it's ripe bananas, and when it's green figs. So I don't really understand why. So I say green bananas, so bear with me. And so I was very happy to hear, you know, that there was going to be this thing. It's one of my favorite foods. So I was very happy. But when I got to Viewfort, I couldn't find any flags in and around the area. And I thought to myself, we're supposed to be celebrating independence, right? Where are the flags? You know, and it's really horrendous. We've become such a materialistic society that there was branding all over for fast-moving consumer goods, but we couldn't find a flag. And somebody pointed out to me that the one flag that was around was in a stall and it was upside down. You know, the vendor didn't take the time off to notice how she was placing the flag. And to my mind, that was disrespectful, because this is your flag. This is the sign of your sovereignty. And we couldn't find flags. And the one paltry flag that was around was hung upside down. And so last week, I cautioned and I admonished and I begged that rather than clothe ourselves outwardly in our national colors and thinking erroneously that we're being patriotic and we're showing our patriotism, that we should clothe our souls and that we should clothe our character, our being, our essence, the way we speak and carry ourselves, the way we treat our fellow men, the way we embrace our heritage, preserving our heritage, the respect that we have for elders and our women and our children, and the things that make us St. Lucian. To me, that is patriotism. And everybody seems to be thinking, oh, it was a success, it was a success. Meanwhile, we have people who are hopeless. 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 And that is manifested in the fact that they're taking their lives because they feel so hopeless, that there are no answers. And we've become a hopeless nation, you know. On the heels of celebrating our 37th independence anniversary, we hear news of yet another suicide. Why are people taking their lives? Why do they feel so hopeless? Why do they feel that no one cares? Because you have to feel like no one cares if you can't feel that there's at least one person that you can reach out to and that you can speak to. And there is a suicide hotline. But maybe after the initial fanfare of opening that hotline, maybe there aren't enough initiatives to remind our citizens that we care, that someone out there cares. And so we have not heard of any PSAs, public service announcements, to remind those of us who feel voiceless and helpless and hopeless that there is an avenue to go to where someone can talk to you and listen to you and help counsel you. It's really sad that while some of us are basking in how great a success our independence celebrations were, some of our brothers and sisters are thinking of taking their lives. And some of us have. It's sad. But more than that, for me, what was even, I don't want to say sadder because it makes the lost life almost as if it were meaningless. But I almost felt on Monday that I did not belong, or I wasn't a citizen of a sovereign state. I listened and I watched and I took in the renaming of the Owen King EU Hospital. And when the representative for the EU, Mr. Michael Barford, came on to speak, the number of times that he admonished us, our government, our Prime Minister, to not just stop at the renaming of the hospital or at the naming of the hospital, but make quick haste to open the hospital. You know, a few weeks ago, I had mentioned to you in a previous broadcast how I felt like we weren't a sovereign state because it took the EU to come out and talk to us about impacts and and the hospital and the status of the hospital. And I felt like the EU was coming into our country and telling us how to run our business and how the government should be communicating with us, our government. And I got a feeling of that on Monday when he kept admonishing us to open the hospital. You know, and that hospital, and I can understand why, because that hospital cost the people of the EU many, many, many millions of dollars. And it's only fair that after spending that kind of money, to know that the hospital is operational. So I will lend my voice to that and see. I hope that we soon hear of the opening date of the Owen King EU Hospital. Now, I'm you must be wondering why I'm so sparkly this evening. But before we go into that, I heard on the way up to the studio that there was a drowning on Tuesday. It's been a bit hectic lately, so I haven't been catching the news very often this week. And being a short week, you know, it throws you off. Every time there's a holiday, we're happy, but then it throws your week off, doesn't it? And we heard of a drowning of one of a visitor to our shows, and my heart goes out to their family, those and friends who are here with the victim, and those who are abroad, because it's no fun knowing that your loved one has left home to come on a dream idyllic vacation and not return home. So our condolences as a nation to that family. So back to me being sparkly. You know, some of you must be wondering where she thinks she's going, you know, solid gold or something. But let me just tell you, this show is going to be a doozy. It's going to be hot. It's going to be spicy. It's going to be saucy. It's going to be deliciously delectable. And best of all, it's going to be good for you. Stay tuned and find out what this show is all about. Why I'm so excited to have this show. See you on the other side of the break.